Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Gio for footballbook.ca. These are my week 3 picks for the 2011 NFL season. I'm 4-3-1 against the spread so far this year. Let's get right to the picks. The first game involves the Houston Texans traveling to New Orleans, where the Saints are 4-point favorites at home. Houston reminds me a lot of New Orleans a couple of years ago when New Orleans could win a lot of games with their offense but didn't have a very good defense. Well, the Texans have shored up their defense this year. They remind me of what New Orleans did a couple of years ago when they won the Super Bowl. I think they're confident and they can take command of the AFC South Division with a good game here. Maybe they won't win, but they're getting 4 points in a game that should be very close. Let's take the Texans +4. Our second game has Miami traveling to Cleveland, where the Browns are small favorites of 2.5 points. Last year, Cleveland went into Miami and beat the Dolphins in Miami. I think the Dolphins will return the favor by going into Cleveland and beating them. Remember, the Dolphins went 6-2 straight up last year on the road. They've already lost their first 2 games at home, so I see that trend continuing. And plus, those 2 games are against pretty good teams, New England and Houston. Let's take Miami +2.5. Our third game has the champion, Green Bay Packers, going to Chicago, where the Packers are 3.5-point favorites. Last week, Chicago middle linebacker Brian Urlacher's mother passed away, and Urlacher wasn't able to practice with the team, and it really showed in the result. Urlacher is the straw that stirs the drink on that defense. You know, Green Bay is not going to go 16-0 in the season, and they're going to lose some games, and they're going to probably lose a game on the road and a game against a division rival. The Bears really need this game to stay in contention. If the Packers go 3-0 and Detroit goes 3-0, they'll be too far behind. So I think a desperate Bears team rallies and probably wins this game. Either way, we'll take the Bears +3.5. And our fourth game has Jacksonville going to Carolina, where the home Panthers are 3.5-point favorites. Blaine Gabbert is starting at quarterback for Jacksonville, the rookie, and he's going off against Panthers rookie quarterback Cam Newton. This game is going to feature 2 rookie quarterbacks with 2 starting games combined. I don't think that's ever happened. Well, we've all seen what Cam Newton can do for the Panthers, so we haven't seen Blaine Gabbert yet. So between the 2 of them, I'd rather take the devil that I know than the devil that I don't know. Jacksonville scored the 3rd fewest points so far in the NFL. Let's take the Panthers and give up the 3.5 points. Here are my 4 over-under picks for this week. I'm 4-4 on the season. We just talked about Jacksonville at Carolina. The number is 43. I don't see much offense in this game. Let's take under in that game. Game number 2 has Detroit going to Minnesota. The Lions have followed a pattern. They go over outside of their division and under in their division. Let's take under 45 in that game. Game number 3 has New England going to Buffalo. You've got 2 of the top 3 offensive teams so far this year. The number is 53.5 actually. And you know what? Let's take over and dare them not to score. And finally, the last game is Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. The number is 39.5 there. I've got a feeling the Steelers might actually shut out the Colts. Let's take under 39.5. Okay, here are my straight-up predictions for all of the games. San Francisco's at Cincinnati. Well, the Bengals had 2 arrests, and running back Cedric Benson is facing a suspension. The beat goes on in Cincinnati. But the thing is, San Francisco's played their first 2 games at home. This is the game opener for the Bengals. Let's take Cincinnati. New England's at Buffalo. I think the Patriots will get it done. Houston's at New Orleans. This is a game that we talked about earlier as well. I think I see an upset here. I'm going with Houston. The Giants are at Philadelphia. New York lost 2 wide receivers in that Monday night football game, which they were awful in that win. Michael Vick is playing for Philadelphia. They've beaten the Giants 6 games in a row. I see that happening again. Let's take Philadelphia. Miami's at Cleveland. We talked about that earlier. I like Miami on the road. We'll take the Dolphins. Denver at Tennessee. This is an interesting game because last year in week 3, there was a similar contest with Denver in Tennessee, about the same spread, 6.5 points, and Denver won that game. I think that's the same thing is going to happen, and I see an upset. I'm picking Denver to win. Next game is Detroit at my beloved Minnesota Vikings. We're very desperate, but we just don't have the talent this year. I think Detroit is going to pay us back for all the times that we've been beat them in a row. I think we've beaten them 50 times in a row. Sadly, I'm going to have to take Detroit to win. Jacksonville at Carolina. We talked about that one earlier. I like the Panthers. Kansas City is at San Diego, and this is what I call my Foghorn Leghorn game of the week. Here's a preview of what's going to happen. And I don't normally do this, but I'm picking San Diego as my suicide pick. I don't like to use a suicide pick in a division game, but I'll make an exception here. The Jets are going to Oakland to take on the Raiders, who are pretty banged up at the receiving core. That's okay because Oakland runs the ball, and although the Jets stop the pass, they don't really stop the run that well. Still, I think New York will do just enough. I'll take the Jets. Baltimore's at St. Louis. That shouldn't be difficult to pick. I'll take the Ravens there. Atlanta's at Tampa Bay. The Falcons just haven't really shown much this year. I think Tampa Bay is ready to beat them. They're at home. It's a low spread. I'm going to take the Buccaneers, and sorry to my buddy Critic 1984, I'm betting against your team. Well, maybe I'll give you some reverse karma. I'm taking Tampa Bay. Seattle is at Arizona. Oh my goodness. Tavares Jackson is just not an NFL quarterback. He probably belongs in the CFL, the Canadian Football League, or as I like to call it, the Courtesy Flush League. Let's take Arizona in that game. Green Bay is at Chicago. I like the upset here. Like I said, will Green Bay win every game? I don't think so. They probably will lose games on the road against their divisional foes. I like the Bears. Pittsburgh's at Indianapolis. That should be a rout. We'll take Pittsburgh. And on Monday night, it's an interesting game. We've got Washington at Dallas. The Cowboys are really, really hurt at wide receiver. I know Tony Romo is going to play, but who is he going to pass the ball to? Washington has been pretty good so far. They're 2-0. This could be an upset here. I'm going to take the Redskins in a wild Monday Night Football upset. All right, those are my picks for Week 3. And if you make videos like this and you'd like to have them posted on my website, please visit us at footballbook.ca. Go to the forums section under Post Your Videos. Or if you can't do it yourself, send me a message and I'll do it for you. So good luck with all your picks. For footballbook.ca, I'm Gio. Let's take the man's money.